Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call the City of Menasha Administration Committee meeting to order. Clerk Kramer, could we have the roll, please?
Alderman Sevenick. Here. Alderman Langdon. Here. Alderman Schmidt. Here. Alderman Tom Grady. Here. Alderman Ted Grady. Here. Alderman Rapella. Here. Alderman Nichols.
Here.
Alderman Taylor. Here. All are present.
Thank you. We have minutes to approve from the Administration Committee meeting of March 21st, 2022. Is there a motion? Alderman Rapella.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the Administration Committee of March 21st, 2022.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Rapella and a chorus of seconds, but we'll take one from Alderman Ted Grady to approve the minutes from the March 21st meeting. Any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay. Minutes are approved. We have several discussion items this evening, the first being a development agreement by and between the City of Menasha and Menasha Real Estate, LLC for the development of the first addition to Lake Park Heights. Director Schrader, if you would bring everyone up to speed on what has transpired over the last few months and what we're looking at this evening.
Yeah, certainly. So again, this is the first edition of Lake Park Heights. This subdivision was actually brought forward in concept in 2011, 2012 to the city of Menasha. And it just was never able to get the right numbers to be able to be constructed. So we do have finally an approved plat. This plat did get approved last fall through both the Plan Commission as well as the Common Council. It is recorded, creating 31 new additional single-family residential lots. And basically what we would look at is Lotus Trail off of Villa Way would be extended to the north. Tana Lane as well as Winnipeg Street would be extended into the vacant property or to the west and creating those 31 lots. And what we have is a very similar development agreement to past development agreements that we've had with Woodland Development as well as Vans. The one thing that I would point out that would be a difference is the city would be paying for, as it's currently presented, for the street portion of Lotus Trail that is currently part of the previous subdivision. So again, there was two lots that combined with a reserved future right-of-way to access this property. So at this time, they have requested, and the city does find it reasonable that we would pay that cost for that street portion through the previous subdivision to get to their parcel boundaries just under $18,000. So again, very similar, one lot be paid back by the end of this year and then 6 lots each subsequent year with the final payment through 2027 or at the time of the sale.
So minus the bit about the city paying for some work to extend Lotus Trail, this is a pretty standard development agreement that we've had with other developers over the last several years.
Correct.
With that, I'll make a motion to enter into discussion, move to approve the development agreement by and between the City of Menasha and Menasha Real Estate, LLC for the development of the first addition to Lake Park Heights. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Alderman Rapella. Any discussion about the agreement? Alderman Sevenick.
This is recommended to the Common Council, correct?
Yes.
I would like for it to say by creating the 31 new single-family residential lots in that motion, if that's, I don't know if you want to call it a friendly motion.
I think
but
that's
that
spelled
should-
out in the agreement.
Motion should state it. That way, that can't be changed.
Okay, for the development of 31, is it 31 residential lots? We'll add that.
Single-family
To the
residential
motion.
lots, yep. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? I do have one question, and it's somewhat related to the area in which this development will be occurring, and that has to do with access to Hidden Pond Park, because this development is right adjacent to that, and as it stands today, there are some walking trails, I'll call them, gravel trails that provide access to the park. So how will that be addressed and access to the park maintained for the neighborhood?
Yeah, certainly. So again, the current trails that you had mentioned are two gravel trails that come off of where Lotus Trail tees into Villa Way currently to the north, and then off of the end of the Tana Lane cul-de-sac. Those gravel trails connect back up and then head into Hidden Pond Park. So that new street section will actually follow the gravel trail section that the Lotus Trail currently is on. And the entire kind of wooded area of that park will be butted up directly against public right-of-way. So there would be a sidewalk section from Villa Way all the way through that area up to Winnipeg Street, and then from Winnipeg to the west with a potential loop there with a trail easement around that park. So again, where the current park green space is, if you will, the open area, there would be houses then along the east and north side of that
Okay.
space.
And then one other question about the Lotus Trail extension. The folks who live on the corner of Lotus Trail and Villa Way have already paid an assessment once for their final street installation on Villa Way. Will they be, how will that be taken into consideration with the extension of Lotus Trail?
The assessment policy, I believe, calls out for paying for the long side. So depending on what they paid for, so they obviously paid for Villa Way. If the Lotus Trail side would be longer, the Lotus Trail side, they would be credited the front side and the additional added for the long side.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Seeing none, Clerk Crowe-Kramer will take a roll call vote.
Alderman Sevenick.
Aye.
Alderman Langdon. Alderman Schmidt. Alderman Tom Grady. Alderman Ted Grady. Alderman Repella. Alderman Nichols.
Aye.
Alderman Taylor. Motion carries 8-0.
Thank you. The second item tonight is Ordinance 522, an ordinance amending Title 15, Article B of the Code of Ordinances, and this is related to the electrical code. Director Schrader, would you be taking this evening?
I would. So as kind of stated in the memo, the current electrical ordinance does not reference the proper state statutes. So we have kind of had the state of Wisconsin working with our building inspector to update this code. So basically what we have in front of us is a updated electrical code. The primary difference is referencing the Wisconsin state statutes as well as the administrative codes, chapter 316. And then there was additional changes or basically cleanup of that ordinance, removing some duplicate language that is now covered within that chapter, that state chapter 316. So basically by removing that, we don't have to update that every time the state would change it. So again, very hopefully simple ordinance to get us back into compliance, to allow us to continue collecting electrical permits, doing inspections, as well as collecting permit fees.
And to be clear, we have been following the state statutes and administrative codes all along. This is
Correct.
simply an ordinance cleanup.
Correct.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Alderman Repella.
Thank you very much. I'll make a motion for 0522, an ordinance amending Title 15, Article B of the Code of Ordinances, Electrical Code, introduced by Mayor Merkes.
And a second?
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Repella and a second by Alderman Schmidt. Did I hear that? Yep. Okay, thank you.
Cool.
To forward this ordinance to council. Any discussion? Alderman Repella, did you have discussion?
Nope.
Okay. Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The motion carries, and the ordinance will be forwarded to council. And lastly, we have Ordinance 622, an ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 2, Article A, Section 7 to 17B of the Code of Ordinances, having to do with outdoor food and alcoholic beverage permits required at Class B premises. Okay, Clerk Krautkramer, I've been asked to ask you to fill us in.
I'll defer to Director Schrader.
Okay, that was a nice,
I
that was a
tried.
nice volley. That was a volley.
Yeah, exactly. No, so as stated kind of in the public comment of the common council meeting, I can just reiterate that we do have a business that's looking to relocate to the downtown. They are moving forward with looking at utilizing the rooftop space. However, it was pointed out to us at the landmarks meeting that this was brought forward, that currently the outdoor serve area does limit it to 50% of the gross floor area. So with this change, basically in here, it would note that the rooftop area would not count towards that 50%, so it does not remove the 50%. So that 50% would still be in place for decks, patios, things of that nature outside of that building footprint. There was one more notation made, I guess, regarding just to only allow this within the C2 district. That is something that we could certainly look into and possibly have more information at the common council meeting if the council or the administration committee here would so choose. I'm trying to think of other situations where we may want this or opportunities may arise outside of the C2 district. There's a few restaurants in the adjoining municipalities that come to mind that I could take a look at and reflect back to you guys.
Alderman Sevenick?
Thank you, Chair. I think it should be restricted to the C2 district. Also, and because we don't have the full breakdown of this, who would do any kind of inspection as far as, I have concerns of weight limits and stuff. So let's say that you get 200 people and then all of a sudden the roof crashes in or something. So that's my only concern. Who sets that up? Is it the fire department that would determine, or go ahead if you.
Yeah, so they're definitely not able to just occupy the roof space. So they do have to get state approved plans. So there is an engineer, a structural engineer, as well as an architect, working on those plans. They will have everything calculated out as far as snow load and number of people and occupancy. The occupancy will be tagged on the building similar to any other use. And I believe right now they're looking at sprinkling the building, whether or not they want to do that or not, which would dictate exactly the occupancy.
And then, there was something else that's not, where I'm not seeing it, that, I'll get back to you if I can think of it now. I can't think of it.
Alderman Taylor?
Thank you. What about a fire exit on the roof? How is that handled? And again, does that go through the state coding?
Yep, so that would go through state code.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Do we have a motion for the ordinance? Okay, Alderman Langdon?
Thank you, Chair Becky. It kind of came to my mind when Alderman Taylor asked that. I was just curious on the Chief Kevin. That would be something that then would be added to your list for you keep on checking that. Okay, thank you.
Alderman Sevenick?
Is there a fee dollar amount?
I would defer to the city clerk.
$25.
And is it an annual?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Is there a motion? Alderman Rapella?
Thank you very much, Alderman Nichols. I'll make a motion to approve 0622, an ordinance amending Title 7, Chapter 2, Article A, Section 7, 2, 17 B of the Code of Ordinances, outdoor food and alcoholic beverage permits required at Class B premises, introduced by Mayor Merkes.
We have a motion by Alderman Rapella, seconded by Alderman Alderman Tom Grady, to forward this to the Common Council. Any other questions or discussion? Alderman Rapella?
No, oh, sorry, keep,
All right, seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay. The motion carries, and the item will be forwarded to the Common Council. And with that, we'll look for a motion to adjourn. We have a motion to adjourn from Alderman Taylor and second by Alderman Tom Grady. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.